All right, welcome folks. We're going to be covering today's set of notes, Photoshop 7, text and layer options. So essentially, it's mostly focused on just accessing the text tool and some of the, pointing out where some of the things are, and then how to change typeface, how to change sizes, stuff like that. So text tool looks like a T. So I'm going to open up our storyboard sheet that we're going to be working on today. And so text tool keyboard shortcut is T. It's the T looking tool over here. And so as you can see, there's two types of text layers. There's point text layers and then there's paragraph text layers. The only functional difference is how they interact with line breaking and stuff. Or there's a few, I'll just say there's a few functional differences. The main one being, does it continue on as an endless line forever, or is there a defined space where the text will inhabit? So if I just click point text here, you can see it's filling in what we call Lorem Ipsum. Lorem Ipsum is just, it's fake Latin babble that is used to show you what things will look like when they're filled with text. So here, if I just started typing, so this is just point text. I just clicked and it made a text line. You'll see that this text line goes on as long as I want outside of here until I hit enter, and then it'll go to the next line. Okay, so that's point text. Now it's typically much more useful for you to use what we call paragraph text. And so I'm going to click and drag a box here for paragraph text. And you will see it has filled with more Lorem Ipsum, like I told you. I'm going to adjust the size of my box so that the top of this is there. I'll hit enter. And so you can see my text here. Now, anytime it hits the end of a line, it will just automatically break to the next line. I'm gonna right now I have a justified left paragraph style. So let me go to aligned left, so everyone's familiar with that. So that's paragraph text versus point text. Point text, it goes on forever. Paragraph text, it lives in the box. So let's talk about editing the actual text that we make. So you'll mostly be interacting with what we call the character panel. That's where all the fancy text info is. The basic stuff here, like your typeface, your font style, size, the basic alignments, so alignment left, center, and right, just like you would see in Microsoft Word. Those are all at the top. Great. Here on, I already have them open, so I'm kind of cheating, but if you go to Window, down to character, you'll get this character panel. And I have that on the second page broken down for you, what each of these mean. So for those of you that want to know more about what's going on in the character panel, check it out. Mostly you only need to know basically font style, then your font size, and then this one, the line height. So how much space is there between your actual lines? So if we look back at this, I'm going to go ahead and my text, as you can see, is 10-point font. In my character panel, I'll go back here and set this back to auto line spacing, and so you'll see now my line spacing does not line up very well with the lines that are actually on here. Whoops. Or at least they don't when you leave them like this. Right? Doesn't match up. What am I going to do? Well, essentially, you will just change manually how much space we treat between each line. So even though this is 10-point font, we should treat the line spacing between our lines of 10-point font to have 24 points of space between them. And then you can see it goes back to lining up with the lines. That's just for this this page. So, you know, whatever number it ends up being to line up with the lines, essentially. You know what I mean? So, all right. So we go in here. Let me just reselect this, and we'll go to 24 and okay. So going back up here, character panel, the paragraph panel, line spacing. So paragraph panel is also attached, typically. And I'm only bringing this up. There's stuff here about pushing in the entire paragraph, indenting the margins, indenting the first line, extra space after line breaks. Like, this is all other stuff if you do graphics design you can look into. But the main thing to take away from this are, in our paragraph, we have new paragraph styles you may be unfamiliar with. So right now, I'm going to highlight this text here that I have. And you can see here we're in a line left text. So what is the difference between an aligned paragraph and a justified paragraph? Basically, an aligned paragraph will have rag, which is to say uneven ends of the lines on. If you're saying align left, you're going to have it aligned straight along the left side with rag on the right, or vice versa. If you align right, it rags on the left because it's aligned on the right. If you align center, it has rag on both sides. Rag just meaning the uneven edge from the words. So right now you can see I have rag from all of these words here on the outside that don't line up with one another. So just real quick, I'm going to put some Lorem Ipsum. I'm going to make my own Lorem Ipsum by hitting the space. And what was I going to do? Oh, I was going to do rag, or aligned, rather. Okay. Whoops. Okay. So you can see on my second line here, they're both set to. You can see align left, so I can align center, and that'll move it actually over to align with the center of where I started my point text. I can align right, where again it'll start at where I started my point text. Again, this is a point text over here. And you'll see that I cannot actually choose justified paragraph styles for point text. Why is that? Mr. Meyer, can you explain? Well, justified text will fill the space edge to edge so that you end up with straight aligned lines on both sides of your paragraph by adding extra space in between the words. So it'll increase the space to be slightly bigger so that you can fit, you know, everything on the line and space it out so it fills the whole line. And then if you're deciding that something is justified left, right, or center, you're just deciding which side the last line will rag. So just like with your align, you're just deciding, instead of all of them being, if you're aligned left, then ragging on the right. If you're aligned left, then you're deciding that your last line will rag on the right. So, and I'm sorry I'm using the fancy shop term, but that's just the way it is. So, that's justified type. So, keep that in mind. If you want to use justified type, you need to use paragraph type. So, you need to make a paragraph box. Okay. I'm going to close this, don't save, and we're going to start from scratch. So here's the assignment, folks. You have two pieces. You have your storyboard sheet that you're going to open up with 6 boxes. You're also going to open this up storyboard that I've provided to you. And essentially, you're just going to cut out 6 of these storyboards, and you're going to use the text tool to label them on the storyboard sheet. So let's get started. So let's say I take this one. Okay, great. Take my move tool, drag it up to here, drag it down here, I'll hit OK. And I'm going to fill this to the size of the box. So I'll make this a little bigger. Okay. So that's my first one. So I'm going to go through and start filling this in. So this will be my up storyboard. And I'm going to highlight that. This is just some point text, and I'm going to change the size to 14. Okay. And so this will be useful for you folks on this too, is if you want to move a text or copy a text along in a straight line, I'm holding Alt and Shift, dragging my text. Okay. Move it over there. So today's date, let's say the 10th. Yeah. Okay. And then I'll take that and slide this over here. Name. Chris M. Alright, and so for here, where I'm filling in, oh, let me not skip this. So scene, this is all under scene 1, we'll say. So scene 1. And I'll put this text where I want it. Alt, Shift, drag. Okay, great. Oops. Okay. That's another piece of point font. Undo. Okay. So, yeah, this is shot 1. Okay, cool. So, scene 1, shot 1. Then we'll create some paragraph text here. So, I am going to write my text in 11-point font. And this is set to 24. Line spacing is 24. So I'm going to adjust the top of mine so that it gets closer to the line. And then I'll just have to move this down a little bit, it seems, so that I can bring this text in. Oh. And so, okay, maybe 24 is not right for this. Maybe 23 is if I'm going to do 11-point font. Maybe 22. There we go. Okay. And paragraph style, I actually don't really care. You could rag whichever side you want. I'm going to do justified left, though. Make it look fancy. So, alright, I got a paragraph box. What do I put in my paragraph box, you think? Well, this looks like a medium shot, eye level, right? And then we'll just go into it. Ellie is inviting Carl to play with her. Carl nervously shifts and looks away. I'm pretty sure I used that vocabulary word right. So, I got my... Basically what I've done now is gone over to my my layers panel, and you can see all your text layers, they don't have thumbnails. They just tell you usually what your text is the name. Oh, okay. Oh, that's the aggressive one, you're right. But it's not tsundere. I'm gonna put yeah. You're right. I'll just put he's shy. Anyway, so back to this. So I'm going to grab these 3 layers here. So this is my numbers here, my 1 and my text here. I'm going to grab my move tool. Again, I have this selected. Shift click on these. If they're non-sequential, you'll need to use Control or Command to select non-sequential layers. And then I'm going to just hold Alt and Shift like I did earlier. I'm going to drag the 3 of these over, and we'll align them with my next shot. Okay, cool. And so now I just need to update Alright, so grab my move tool, just cut this out, bring it over here, hit OK. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, and then so this we'll just update since this is its own thing. So this is a close-up shot, and it's I guess it's still I. It does look a little, you know what? I think it's a low angle. I think it's a LA. I think it's an LA angle. So Ellie is off put by how shy Carl is behaving. Blah. This is shot 3. You don't have to do sequential ones. You can just do whatever. So as long as you cut any 6 of these out and you number them, I would like to say properly, but I'm not going to go count most of these. So just, if you just put 1 through 6 for your shots here, I will be pleased. As long as it's not all shot 1, scene 1, shot 1, or whatever up here, we're all good. So the point is, this should be very simple. Use the text tool. That's the assignment. So you're going to cut 6 of these out, any 6 of them, drag them into this, and then use the text tool to fill in the rest of this sheet. Title, date, name, make a paragraph text, tell us what are you seeing, what do we remember from our cinematography stuff. So is this a medium shot? What kind of camera angle is it? Is there any camera movement that occurs in this? So is this the start of a pan? Is this the end of a pan? Something like that. So all right. So that's about it for this, folks. So again, if you need a refresher, check out especially for the character panel, deep dive on the second page of the notes, but it's mostly how to use the text tool to make point text, paragraph text, and how those behave. So thank you for watching.